I can't tell you the number of times that I've had liquids poured on me, urination. Um, they would ride by with garden hose, and if you didn't pay attention to what you were doing, you get hit over the head with a garden hose as the car was speeding by. I mean, a lot of things like that happen. So we used to try and sneak through the railroad yard to try and get home without going through the harassment to go through the white neighborhood. And they found out we were doing that, and so that there was a hill and the railroad track was down below, and these kids used to sit up there and take rocks and throw at us as we were running down the track trying to get home, you know. We would get run off the field by the cops. They didn't want the white kids playing with the black kids. And we were friends as kids, but we weren't allowed to play together. They wouldn't allow black people on the beach in Biloxi. And we would go down to the beach on Saturdays and get beat up and run off the beach, forced off by the cops, beaten up by folks. And we kept doing it. And finally, they gave us a spot. Now, if you can imagine, there's the beach, and then there's the harbor. And they built the harbor out into the sound. So you had this corner where there's sand here, this concrete wall where the boats are kept inside the harbor. They gave us about maybe 100 feet of beach, but right at the harbor. And so that's where all of the debris, the beer cans and the trash and the grass and dead fish, all that would come up where the beach would go down and make this angle. We'd get caught in an ebb here and wouldn't flow out. That's what we had as beach. Of course, we never used it. And this is a sad story, but when we were studying civics in the 10th grade, one of the guys in the neighborhood was, you know, as they say, the elevator didn't go all the way to the top. And we were encouraging, as part of our schoolwork, people to register and vote, to learn how to pass the test so you could vote whenever those opportunities became available. And so this guy, we were talking to him about registering to vote. And he was insistent on registering to vote. He went down to the courtyard in my little hometown, and they shot him in front of the courtyard. They killed him. And so you can imagine the impact that had on me as a 10th grader, who I felt that I had something to do with that, because we had been telling people, you know, it's your right to go down and register and vote. It was a tough time. From 9th grade through my sophomore year in college, I was a migrant worker working the tobacco farms in East Long Meadows, Massachusetts, from middle May to middle September. Because in Mississippi at the time, I mean, there were no jobs to be had, and I needed to work to help pay for my education, and so that's what I did. You could not get a job as a student working unless you were digging a ditch or cutting somebody's grass or washing somebody's windows. The jobs, you know, bagging groceries or working in one of the stores, department stores, you couldn't have a job like that, which is the reason why I went to the tobacco farm every year. It was nothing to be had other than slave labor type jobs, which that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor. So I applied for financial aid from the state of Mississippi, and I had good grades in school, and so I got accepted until they found out that I was black. And then that was the problem. And the problem was the state of Mississippi would finance you to go to medical school, but you had to go to a school in the state of Mississippi. And at that time, being black, you couldn't go to a school in the state of Mississippi. Then I got a football scholarship. I played quarterback, and went to Alcorn State, majored in chemistry. And when I finished college, I became a school teacher because I didn't know what else to do. But I found that there was too much month left at the end of my paycheck. And raising a family, I just felt that I needed to do something different with my life. So I went to graduate school in New York and was majoring, working on my master's degree in analytical chemistry. So I got a job working for Corning in research and development in upstate New York. We built a house, and there was a protest against the builder to keep us out of the house. And then we moved to Chicago, and the first house we moved into, I was interrogated by the FBI. That the guy across the street, who was the mayor, wanted to know what my background was. So they were doing a background check, and they came to my house. And then after that, we moved from Woodridge, and I built a house. I was actually looking to buy a house in the next suburb of Lisle. The builder of the neighborhood came over to the real estate person and says, "You know, we don't want any of those people in this neighborhood." This is in 1980. You know, I'm the only black person at this level in this industry, in this part of our industry. I'm the only black manager. And I go to meetings day in and day out where I'm the only black person in the room, but I don't look at it that way. I mean, only when someone asks me. But my routine is that I'm just among a bunch of friends, business associates, or competitors, and I carry myself accordingly. Martin Luther King made his contribution because he talked a lot. I think I've made my contribution because I've acted. I've been successful in my career, but he motivated me. I respected him immensely, and so I have a dream too. And that one day we won't have Black History Week. That the history of the black man is folded into the history of America, so we don't need to have Black History Week, because over time, as we all progress in our careers and we become what I've become and what a lot of other black people have become as part of, then how do you write and single out a black person if we're all equals? And that's the way I think about Martin Luther King and about Jim Smith.